Welcome back to Elderly Smiles. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and click the bell icon to stay updated. Let's begin the discussion.
When we think about retirement and our golden years, we often picture ourselves relaxing, enjoying time with family, grandkids, and a lot of folks picture themselves living near their kids as they get older.
It's a pretty common aspiration, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But today, we're going to flip that script a little bit and explore why living near your children in old age might not actually be the best idea for everyone.
It's an interesting perspective, for sure.
Yeah. We're going to be diving into some of the downsides, some of the potential strains it can put on relationships.
Yeah.
And some alternative approaches to creating a fulfilling life as we age.
It's not about discouraging close family ties at all, but more about understanding that. Closeness doesn't always have to mean physical proximity.
Exactly. And one thing that we hear a lot from older adults is this fear of becoming a burden on their children. It comes up again and again in a lot of the stories and research we've looked at.
Yeah, it's a valid concern, and I think it taps into sort of a deeper psychological tension, right? As we age, there's this natural shift in our roles within the family. We go from being the caregivers to sometimes being the ones who need care, and that can be a difficult adjustment for everyone involved.
Definitely. And it can lead to feelings of guilt or inadequacy for the older generation, even if their kids are, genuinely happy to help.
Absolutely. And I remember one story that really resonated with me was about a woman who moved closer to her daughter, really with the intention of helping with the grandkids and being a part of their lives. But over time, she started feeling like she was asking for more help than she was giving.
Yeah.
And it started to weigh on her. She felt like a burden, even though her daughter never said anything.
Wow. That feeling of being a burden, even when it's not explicitly said, can be incredibly isolating and emotionally draining.
It really can. It can chip away at your sense of self-worth, your independence, and you might even start to withdraw from activities that you used to enjoy.
And that brings us to another point, which is the potential impact on independence. And it's almost counterintuitive because sometimes moving closer to family with the intention of getting more support can actually lead to less independence.
It is a bit of a paradox, isn't it? When help is readily available, it becomes really easy to slip into a pattern of reliance. And we've seen this in a lot of the research and stories we've looked at. For example, situations where older adults start depending on their children for tasks. Yeah, they were perfectly capable of doing themselves before. Things like driving, errands, even simple decision making.
Right, like that story we read about a man who moved next door to his son and daughter-in-law.
Yes.
He thought it'd be wonderful to be so close. Yeah. But he ended up feeling like he was actually losing his ability to function on his own.
Exactly. He started to feel like he was constantly asking for these little favors. And while his children were happy to help, he started to feel like he was losing control over his own life. No longer making his own decisions, setting his own schedule, just engaging with the world on his own terms.
Yeah. It almost seems like he traded one form of dependence for another. Instead of relying on his own abilities, he became reliant on his children's availability and their willingness to help.
It's a really subtle shift, but it can have a profound impact on your sense of identity and purpose.
Yeah.
And make you feel like you're not a contributing member of the family or society anymore.
Right. And so while the goal might be to get more support, the result can sometimes be this loss of agency. And this diminishing sense of self.
It's a delicate balance for sure,
Wow.
and it highlights the importance of maintaining independence, even as we age and require more assistance with certain things.
So we've talked about the fear of becoming a burden. We've talked about this potential loss of independence. But what about the impact on relationships? A lot of people assume that living closer will naturally strengthen family bonds.
You'd think so, right?
Yeah.
It seems intuitive, and it's certainly what we're often led to believe. But research actually suggests that proximity doesn't always guarantee harmony. In fact, it can sometimes amplify existing tensions or even create new ones.
Almost like that saying, familiarity breeds contempt.
Exactly. When you're in close proximity all the time,
Yeah.
Those little quirks and habits that might have been endearing or easy to overlook from a distance, they can become major sources of irritation.
Right. We were reading about a mother who moved next door to her son. She was picturing these, cozy family dinners and spontaneous get-togethers.
Yeah.
But her constant presence actually ended up feeling intrusive.
Oh, wow.
And her well-intentioned advice wasn't always received that well.
It's a classic example of how, good intentions can backfire when it comes to living arrangements. Her presence, instead of fostering this closeness, created a sense of suffocation. And all that interaction actually strained their relationship.
So instead of bridging a gap, the physical closeness actually ended up creating an emotional distance.
Unfortunately, that's a pretty common outcome without those healthy boundaries and a conscious effort to respect each other's space. Proximity can sometimes breed resentment rather than that closeness.
And it's not just about physical space, is it? It's about emotional space, too. It's about having that freedom to express yourself, to make your own choices, to live life on your own terms without feeling judged or controlled.
Exactly. And that's where the idea of distance comes in. And I don't necessarily mean physical distance, but rather that emotional space that allows each individual to maintain their own identity and sense of agency.
This is making me think about the social aspect of aging as well. We often assume that living near family means automatic inclusion in their social lives.
Yeah.
But that's not always how it works out.
It's another one of those common misconceptions. While children might include their parents in some activities, it's unrealistic to expect to be fully integrated into their busy lives. They have their own friends, their own routines, their own commitments. And those things might not always align with the needs or desires of an older adult.
Right. And if someone is solely relying on their children for social interaction, it can really lead to a sense of isolation and loneliness.
Yeah.
Even when they're physically surrounded by family.
Absolutely. We came across a story of a woman who moved closer to her son, assuming she would be a part of, his family gatherings and social circles. But she quickly realized that his life was much busier than she anticipated, and she ended up feeling more isolated than ever.
Yeah. And that highlights the importance of cultivating our own social networks, regardless of where we live.
It's crucial. It's about finding activities and groups that interest you, making new friends, and engaging with the world beyond just your immediate family. That sense of social independence is really crucial for maintaining a sense of purpose and well-being as we age.
And this makes me think about that whole, dynamic of guilt and obligation that can be so present in family relationships. Especially as parents age, it seems like no matter how close or far you live, those feelings can still creep in.
It's a complicated mix of, societal expectations, cultural norms, personal values. We're kind of conditioned to think that caring for aging parents is our duty, right? And that creates a sense of obligation that can be really tough to navigate.
Yeah, for sure. And it seems like when you throw physical proximity into the mix, those feelings can get even more intense.
Absolutely. When you live close by, there's this unspoken assumption that you'll be more available, right? Whether it's for errands, appointments, emergencies, or even just company.
Yeah. And it can be a lot of pressure, both for the parent who might feel guilty if they can't reciprocate the help, and the child who might feel overwhelmed by the constant demands on their time and energy.
Right, exactly. We read about this woman who was struggling to balance caring for her aging parents, who lived just down the street with her own busy life. She had a demanding job, young kids at home. She felt obligated to help her parents, of course, but it was just creating so much stress in her life.
It's almost like a tug of war between wanting to do what's right for your parents and needing to take care of your own life.
It really is. And it's not just the practical stuff either. There's the emotional weight of it all, too.
Yeah.
Watching your parents age, dealing with their increasing needs. It can be really tough.
It's heavy stuff for sure. So how do we break free from that cycle of guilt and obligation? Is it about setting boundaries?
Yeah.
Having those difficult conversations?
It's all of that. And it takes a willingness to challenge those expectations that we've been taught about what it means to be a good child to aging parents. Being there doesn't have to mean sacrificing your own well-being or living right next door.
Right. It's about finding that balance, honoring your parents' needs while acknowledging your own limits.
Exactly. And sometimes that balance is best found by acknowledging the benefits of distance. Not necessarily physical distance, but that emotional space that allows both people to grow and thrive.
And this reminds me of another point we wanted to touch on. The idea that sometimes when we focus solely on being near family, we might actually miss out on opportunities for personal growth and new experiences.
That's such an important point. We often associate retirement with settling down, being close to loved ones, enjoying a familiar routine. But what if that routine actually limits our potential?
Yeah, what if it does?
I mean, think about it. We've worked hard our whole lives, raised families, built careers. Now we finally have the time and freedom to explore new things, pursue passions we maybe put on hold, travel to new places. It's a time for reinvention.
And I think we have this idea that we should be spending that time with our kids and grandkids, which is great, of course. But what if actually focusing on ourselves a bit could actually make us better parents and grandparents in the long run?
Exactly. We read this amazing story about a man who decided to move to a different state after he retired. His kids were not thrilled, they wanted him to stay close by, but he just felt this pull to do something different, something that would challenge him and push him out of his comfort zone.
I love that. So what happened?
Well, he absolutely thrived. He joined all these local clubs, took up new hobbies, made new friends, basically reinvented himself. And he said he never would have experienced that kind of growth if he'd stayed put.
That's so inspiring. It's like he gave himself permission to rediscover himself and pursue his passions.
Yeah.
And it led to this whole new chapter in his life.
And I think that's a really powerful lesson for all of us. Sometimes the best way to be there for our children is to prioritize our own happiness and fulfillment.
Because when we're living a life full of joy and purpose, it impacts everyone around us.
It does. It sets a great example for our kids and grandkids. It shows them that life doesn't end at retirement.
Right.
That it's a time for new beginnings, for growth, and for pursuing our dreams, no matter how old we are.
And that's a beautiful way to think about it. Instead of focusing on what we can do for our kids, we can focus on what we can do for ourselves.
Yeah.
And in doing so, we might actually be creating a positive ripple effect that benefits the whole family.
It's a powerful shift in perspective, for sure.
This also makes me think about the potential for disagreements about parenting styles and the role of grandparents, especially when you're living close by. There might be a clash of opinions or values.
Oh, absolutely. That's a common source of tension.
Yeah.
And it can be magnified when grandparents are living close to their kids and grandkids.
We've all heard those stories, right? About grandparents who have very strong opinions.
Yeah.
About how their grandkids should be raised.
Yeah.
And those opinions don't always align with the parents' choices.
Right. And it can lead to conflict, especially if those opinions are expressed in a way that feels critical or judgmental. We read about one grandmother who moved closer to her daughter to be closer to the grandkids. But she ended up clashing with her daughter over everything. Discipline, diet, screen time.
Wow.
It was well-intentioned, but it really created tension in their relationship.
So instead of bringing them closer, it kind of pushed them apart.
Exactly. And this is where boundaries become so important, even in the closest of family relationships.
Boundaries that respect everyone's autonomy, acknowledge different parenting styles, and allow for open communication without that fear of judgment.
It was about recognizing that parents have the ultimate responsibility for raising their children, and that grandparents, while offering love and support, should respect those boundaries.
It's about finding that balance between offering guidance and respecting autonomy.
And sometimes that balance is easier to maintain when there's a bit of distance, both physical and emotional. When you're not constantly in each other's space, it's easier to let go of that need to control or influence and just accept each other for who you are.
So it's not about being right or wrong, but about respecting different perspectives and choices, even when we don't agree. And that respect extends to the role of grandparents, too. There's often this assumption that grandparents will be readily available for childcare, especially if they live close by.
Right.
But that can become a huge burden if it's not managed carefully.
Absolutely. It should be a joy, not an obligation.
We read about a grandfather who moved closer to his daughter, and he was so excited to spend more time with his grandkids. But he ended up feeling overwhelmed by the constant requests for babysitting. And he started to miss his free time.
It's important to set boundaries and communicate your needs clearly.
It's about finding that sweet spot where you can enjoy being a grandparent without feeling resentful or taken advantage of.
Exactly.
And this brings us to another potential pitfall of living close: the tendency to overstep boundaries.
Yeah.
Even if it's unintentional.
Oh, it happens all the time. It's so easy to slip into that pattern of dropping by unannounced, expecting frequent visits, getting overly involved in our kids' lives when we live close by.
It's almost like you can't help it sometimes.
Right. And while it usually comes from a good place, love and a desire to be involved, it can feel really suffocating for our kids and their families.
Yeah, they might feel like they have no privacy or space.
Exactly. We read about a woman who was feeling so stressed after her mother moved in nearby. Her mom would just pop in all the time wanting to chat and be helpful. But the daughter felt like she had no time to herself. It really started to affect their relationship.
It's a good reminder that even the closest relationships need boundaries.
They do.
Everyone needs their own space.
Yeah,
To feel comfortable and respected.
absolutely.
And those boundaries will look different for every family.
Of course.
But it's so important to talk openly about what feels right for everyone.
It's all about finding that balance between closeness and independence, being supportive, but also being respectful.
And maybe sometimes a little bit of physical distance can actually make it easier to maintain those boundaries.
It can, for sure.
This has been such a fascinating discussion. It's really made me rethink this whole idea of living near family in our later years.
It's definitely more complex than we often think, right?
Yeah, it's not about rejecting closeness or abandoning our loved ones. It's about understanding that there are many ways to be a family. And sometimes a little bit of space can actually strengthen those bonds.
Absolutely. It's about creating a dynamic that allows both generations to thrive.
And it's important to remember that this idea of being there for our children doesn't just mean physical presence. It's about creating a relationship that respects everyone's needs and boundaries.
Right. Recognizing that our role as parents changes as our children become adults. And sometimes the most supportive thing we can do is encourage their independence while also taking care of ourselves.
And part of that is acknowledging that caring for aging parents can be really challenging for adult children.
It's a big responsibility, yeah.
Especially if they're already juggling work, family, other commitments.
It can be incredibly stressful and lead to burnout.
So how do we make sure that our desire to be close to our kids doesn't accidentally put too much on their plate?
I think open and honest communication is key. Having those conversations about expectations, limitations, potential challenges early on can really help.
It's about having those sometimes tough conversations
Yeah.
about things like future care needs, financial considerations, even end-of-life wishes.
Exactly. It's not about being negative, but about being realistic and making sure everyone's on the same page.
Right, and it makes me think about the resources available to older adults, even those who want to live independently.
There are so many options these days. Things like retirement communities, assisted living facilities, home care services, they're becoming more and more common.
And they can provide that sense of community, social engagement, access to support, without putting all the responsibility on family members.
Exactly. It allows older adults to maintain their independence while still getting help when they need it.
So instead of viewing these options as a last resort, we can see them as empowering choices that let us live full lives while respecting our children's boundaries.
I love that. It's about shifting our perspective and letting go of the idea that relying on our children is the only way to age well.
And, you know, this whole conversation has really made me realize that creating a fulfilling life in our later years goes beyond just being near family. It's about finding what truly brings us joy and purpose.
Absolutely. It's about embracing the freedom that comes with this stage of life, the time to explore new interests, reconnect with old passions, and just really focus on ourselves.
And that self-discovery can actually make our relationship stronger, you know, with our children and grandchildren.
When we're happy and fulfilled, it radiates outwards.
Right, it does. It shows them that it's okay to prioritize their own needs and dreams.
That it's never too late to pursue what you love.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one thing you'd like our listeners to take away?
I'd say embrace this chapter of your life with a sense of adventure. Challenge those old ideas of what it means to be an older adult. Prioritize your own happiness. Build meaningful connections. And remember, the best thing you can do for your children is to live a life that inspires them.
That's a beautiful thought. And it leaves us with this question to think about. How can we create a life in our later years that honors our own needs and desires while still nurturing those strong bonds with our children and grandchildren?
It's a question worth pondering. And remember, there's no right or wrong answer. It's about finding what works for you and your family.
Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us today. This has been such an insightful conversation.
It's been my pleasure. And remember, the best is yet to come.